I had forgotten all about my suspicion halfway down the stairs to open the door for Lovely. My heart filled with anticipation instead. Dear Yah, I had thought that maybe my mother was dead. When I reached the door, I threw it open, and something cold and sticky hit me in the face. It took my mind a minute to comprehend what was happening. And just in time, too, because Lovely had another bucket in her hand and was getting ready to toss it. I moved out the way just in time to avoid another bucket of blood. My stomach rolled. Lovely, what are you doing? I yelled, looking down at myself and my surroundings all covered in blood. She came in and several men came in with her. They all carried buckets, and they began to toss it on everything. Stop, I yelled. Lovely, stop. When her buckets were empty, she turned and smiled at me as if she wasn't ruining my world. Hey, baby. She came to stand next to me and hugged me. I just stood in shock as man after man came in with their buckets. They were covering everything in blood. Mommy, what are you doing? I cried, tears coming out my eyes because something in the gym had changed. That hedge of protection was gone. I could feel it. Baby, Mommy came here to rescue you. Rescue me? What are you talking about? Well, I told your mother all about how this thug kidnapped you and began holding you against your will. Dollar Bill. He stood at the door as if he was afraid to come in. First he stuck one arm in and then the other. And when nothing happened to him, he smiled big and stepped in. Speaking of the thug, where is it? He asked, carefully walking across the blood-smeared floor. Naturally, he didn't want to get blood on his gaiters. He's not here, so you can leave till he comes back. Why would I do that? I would prefer to do this thing without him. Nemo, take your men, search the place, find my staff. No, you can't do this. You have to go. Sure I can. You let me in. I let my mother in. Dollar Bill held his head back and bellowed with laughter. Poor simple Butta. Don't you see? When you let your mother in, you let me in. I looked around as his men began to go throughout the gym. It had to be over 100 of them, invading Lion's sanctuary. And it was all my fault. I snatched my arm away from Lovely. Once again, I trusted her and she had thrown me under the bus. Oh, Butta, baby, don't be like that. Mama just doing what's best for you. You're doing what's best for you. You always have. She looked taken aback. Her long, relaxed brown hair was stringy, as if it hadn't been washed in a long time. Her skin, that was normally a honey color like my own, was ashen. And something was wrong with her eyes. Her pupil and iris was jet black. Something was wrong with Lovely. How could you say something like that to me? She asked. But before I could answer, there was a loud boom, and several of Dollar Bill's men came flying back into the room with holes in their chests. Then a crash shook the building, and the next thing I know, Lion came from what I guess was the ceiling to land in the center of the ring, giving me a mad case of deja vu. His man came in from everywhere, surrounding us. Dollar Bill began to clap. Bravo, gentlemen. Bravo. You do know how to make an entrance. Speaking of entrance, Cat Daddy, Lion said, taking Dollar Bill's lime green suit and matching gaiters in. What's with all the blood? Well, your security system ain't the most welcoming one, is it? It does its job at protecting you from us sinners most efficiently. All I've done was, disable it for a little while. He held out his hand, gesturing around the gym. The diamonds in his watch catching the light in a way that drew attention to his Rolex. Lion chuckled and shook his head as he came to stand on the outside of the ropes and squatted down on the edge of the ring. For all that didn't know Lion, it looked as if he was relaxed, just simply having a conversation. but for all that knew him, it was clear he was readying himself to pounce. I looked around and saw his men readying themselves in a similar fashion. The twins both had daggers in their hands, flipping them over like coins. Danny eased his hand underneath his jacket, where I bet he took the safety off his pistols. I pulled Lovely closer to me. Or the misinformed, the preacher said, coming from the back of the gym as he stepped over dead bodies. "Oh, look everybody, look! It's Lazarus, the one he loved." Dollar Bill clapped his hands together mockingly. If I had a gun, I would just shoot him and end this all. Tell me, Ancient One, what am I misinformed about? The protection that was on this building was placed there to, shall we say, keep Lion calm, which meant keeping things that may anger him out. It never was meant to protect Lion from, as you say, sinners. It was meant to protect the sinners from Lion. Ooh, that's frightening. And you know what? I thought it could be something like that. So I brought a friend. Dollar Bill turned toward the door and held up his hand. Gentlemen, may I introduce you to Hercules? And oh my goodness, in the door walked Lion, or at least his identical twin. You see, Lion, not all of your specimens failed. As a matter of fact, Hercules here is our oldest specimen. Thanks to those strong genes of yours, he is almost 5 years old, the oldest one to date. He's also strong as 10,000 men, faster than a speeding bullet. Well, and you know the rest. Lion, like the rest of us, stared at his twin in amazement. Look, Lazzy, Lion here don't look so scary. Not compared to my boy here, Dollar Bill continued. And it was true. Lion Twin was practically foaming at the mouth. His eyes glowed a strange shade of red, and he kept flexing his muscles as if he was ready to crush somebody. He was real scary. I looked at Lion, and he didn't look bothered at all. Yeah, the preacher turned to look at Lion. He does look calm now, but I bet you're going to change that. Listen, Dollar Bill began. I'm not that guy. I would like to do this as easy as possible. Do what as easy as possible? Lion asked. Why, I want the staff, of course. The staff? Moses' staff? Lion asked. Why are you looking for that? The preacher asked, coming to stand next to Lion on the floor where he still squatted down on the edge of the ring. Are you jiving me? You're trying to stop the Exodus. Ha! The preacher laughed towards the ceiling. Now that's the first time I ever heard him laugh. You are actually going to try and stop the Exodus? By any means necessary, Dollar Bill sneered, clearly not happy at the preacher laughing at him. And since misery loves company, he looked at me and said, Butta didn't tell you why I sent her in? The preacher held up his hands as if to say, well, that's gonna do it. Lion looked at me. What are you talking about, Nuri? Only thing I could do was shake my head. I couldn't lie to him. And as I stared into his eyes, I saw them grow cold. So cold the temperature in the room dropped. Lion, it's not like that, I began, but was cut off when he suddenly stood and let out a horrible laugh. Damn lying, treacherous women. Okay, that hurt, but he had a right to be mad. Still, he needed to know that I didn't follow through with it. Lion, wait, I began, but Dollar Bill cut him off. What? Did you think she was here all this time because she loved you? Come on, Lion. I would have thought you would have learned your lesson after Delilah. That was it. Lion turned to look at Dollar Bill. Delilah? What you know about Delilah? Lion, listen. You can't let yourself go. You gotta fight it, man, the preacher said, grabbing Lion's arm. But Lion snatched his arm away. On his face was the same smile that I'm pretty sure the Joker wore before he blew something up. No, preacher. They came in my house. Sent this. He looked at me with such a look of disgust. This hoe here that was obviously ready to get down like she lay down to steal something I ain't even got. Man, that hurt like hell. How he gonna call me a hoe? He know I was a virgin when I laid with him. Hey, demon, he yelled at Dollar Bill. King opened his mouth and let out a piercing roar that had us all clutching our ears. Lion, please, the preacher tired again. But this time it was Lion that roared. No, preacher! The window shook. Lovely got closer to me and pulled me back to the wall. What the hell, she said, close to my ear. Even Dollar Bill had taken a step back. That goofy smile was gone off his face. I'm trying to ask the demon a question. Hey, demon, he yelled at Dollar Bill. Do you know why I don't have the staff? Dear y'all help us. Lion was gone, and in his place was not that disciplined warrior with the light that came from his eyes. No, Lion's eyes looked completely black. I don't have the staff because I'm not worthy enough to pick it up. Dollar Bill turned as if he was going to slide out the door, but then the preacher yelled, no, and the doors closed. Since you started this fire, the least you can do is stay and take the brunt of it. Hercules, go! Dollar Bill yelled, his eyes looking around wildly. Lion's twin barreled through some tables, coming for Lion. But before he could take 5 steps, 7 of those little blades was in his chest. He looked down in shock, and that was all the time Lion needed. He leapt off the ring and came down on Hercules. It looked like his right hand dug into his collarbone, while his left went under his neck, and oh man, I was going to throw up. He ripped the thing's head off. My stomach was already going queasy with all the sticky blood, with its metallic odor. But now the spleen came out with the head. I blew. I threw up everything in my stomach as chaos erupted around me. Lovely rubbed my back and managed to snag some paper towel. When I had thrown up everything in my belly, I looked up just in time to see Lion hold one of Dollar Bill's men in the air and just break him like a pencil. I looked at Dollar Bill and I could not believe what I was seeing. He wasn't human. He fought the preacher, but he had fangs and glowing red eyes, and he was trying to rip the preacher's head off with talons. Preacher easily dodged his blows as he swung his sword at Dollar Bill, who was moving like some kind of wild bird or something. Oh God, Lovely cried when she noticed her lover. Dollar Bill's men were no match for Lions. They were making quick work at killing them. The twins looked bored as they took out man after man with daggers to the throat and head. The big ox looked like he was having fun as he cracked spines. I have never in my life seen such a massacre. And then Lion made his way to where the preacher and Dollar Bill fought. No, Lovely screamed, making her way towards them. Mom, no! I reached for her, but she broke away. Lion hit Dollar Bill so hard in the back that the sound of him breaking through his chest cavity could be heard throughout the gym. But his hand didn't stop there. It kept going. The sound that Dollar Bill made hurt my ears. Lovely ran to Lion and grabbed his arm, and then my world slowed down. Without looking, Lion threw back his elbow, hitting Lovely in the face. Her head turned and kept turning until the sound of the crack reached my ears. I clutched my stomach and I fell to the floor. Lion pulled out his hand, and Dollar Bill's heart was there in his hand. I heard screaming, loud screaming, and after a minute I realized it was me. But Lovely wasn't moving. I crawled over to her, sliding in the blood. King stood next to Lion with a man's throat in his mouth. When I made it to my mother's lifeless body, I picked up her head and put it into my lap. My heart, help me please, Father, help me, I can't breathe. My Lovely. I opened my mouth and I yelled, help me. Lion looked down at me with his cold eyes and just turned, dropping Dollar Bill's heart next to us before he walked away. I stared at King, whose mouth was now covered in blood, and then that heart, and then back at Lovely, and I must have shattered, because when I woke up I was laying in a soft bed, in a very pink room. I frowned at the pink ceiling, and the pink canopy over my head, and then a pain like I had never felt filled my heart. Lovely, I cried out. Shh, Nuria, you're safe. Sophia came to sit on the bed next to me. Sophia, where is Lovely? Where is my mother? Tears filled her eyes and she shook her head. She didn't make it, sweetheart. I cannot explain the torment those words brought to me. He killed her, Sophia, I whispered through my tears. Who? Lion, I cried out, my fist balling up as hate filled all the spaces in me that grief had not taken up. Just rest, Nuri. We'll talk about it when you wake up. I looked at her. My name is Butta. Butta, baby.